Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday, the 2nd of June's Leaders Update. Um, just a little update from my life before we move on with thinking back and thinking forward. Uh, as you know, if you've been around church, I've been doing a master's this year, and I've just completed my second term, so I've still got a full year to do because I've been doing it part time. And this term I've been looking at um, the conquest of Canaan in Joshua. I've been looking at Augustine, and I've been looking at one of the ancient ways of reading the Bible called Lectio Divina, which means holy reading. So that's all been really good, but I'm really glad to get those essays done and in and out of the way. Sorry, by the way, if it's a little bit dark. I don't have a lamp in front of me to make my face a bit brighter. Hopefully, you can still see me. Anyway, Sunday, this past Sunday, we were thinking about Pentecost because it was Pentecost Sunday, and we thought about what the Spirit brings, and He brings three things. He brings personal relationship, which was different to what they would have experienced before, where Israel would have related to God as a nation through one person. So, for example, Moses. So we saw that when the Spirit comes, that changes. The flame comes and He rests upon each of the believers, meaning that we all have personal access to God. Then the second thing we thought about was the great power that the Holy Spirit brings, power that gives Peter an incredible ability to be bold and to speak for Jesus in front of all these people who had gathered. And we also saw that He breaks down barriers, that the Spirit unites us, unites Christians together regardless of their ethnicity or their background, because the blood of Christ is stronger than than blood. Even we are closer to one another even than to our own siblings or our own parents, because we have Christ and because the Spirit dwells within us. And we thought about how that relates to what we're experiencing at the moment with the restrictions that are in place. And one of the things that we wanted to make really clear was this, that we're waiting with and not for the Spirit. The Spirit is already here. He already dwells within us. He is at work in the midst of this COVID-19 crisis, and He's at work in us. And we were challenged on Sunday to think about what we long for our relationship with God to look like. What do we long for it to look like when we come out of all of this? Do we long to be different? And if we do, are we praying that God will change us and will use this to draw us closer into our relationship with Him and to make us more like His Son Jesus by the power of His Holy Spirit? So that's what we thought about last Sunday. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be finishing a series that we started actually before lockdown called Stories You Think You Know. We've been thinking about some of the Old Testament stories that we maybe have learned as children if we grew up in the church, stories that we know about them, but do we know what they mean? And that's what we've been doing and what we're going to do for the next few weeks. So this week we're going to look at Abraham and Isaac, and particularly zoning in on that unusual passage where God tests Abraham by asking him to sacrifice his only son. So what is that all about? And then in the summer, often if you've been around our church for a while, you'll know that in the summer we often look at an Old Testament story. So we've done things like Moses and my memory's failing me. We did Moses, we've done Joseph, We looked at Nehemiah. We've done lots of different things, and we're kind of running out of Old Testament narrative to do. So we're going to this time look at some New Testament narrative. And usually when we go New Testament narrative, we go the Gospels, which is great. But this time what we're going to do is we'll dip into the Gospels a bit, but we're going to look at Peter, the Apostle Peter, and we're going to think a little bit about what he was like before Pentecost and before the Holy Spirit came upon him, but mainly what happens in the book of Acts. So we're going to do that over summer this year. So that's everything really to chat about for this one. We'll see you again on Thursday, and there should be an email tomorrow as well that goes out. Bless you all, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.